Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late May 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Scorpio collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do you got for us? What do you have for Scorpio gang in late May 2026? It is Gemini season at the time of this filming. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio gang in late May. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick, shall we, my friends? So, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, almost. For those of you that are new here, I only read jumpers. So sometimes the cards pop out super quick. Sometimes they take a few shuffles and a little bit of coaxing. But today we do got this little very people-y kind of card for some reason. Now, for some Scorpios, this could actually be really good. Others, maybe not so much. I guess it depends on what you got going on. But either this is like a lot of complexity or a lot of people showing up. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, it's a cool little image here. We got this bald dude, we have the lady with the wig on, there's all these pictures of different people. Even in the background, there's like shadows of other people walking around, so it's very people-y. Now, normally when I see a card that is so popular, to me it represents like either group dynamics, so whether it's like coworkers, friends, family, there's like something here that just has a lot of people in it. Now, as someone with some major Scorpio placements myself, I know a lot of Scorpios like to be loners sometimes, or have their own space, or need to retreat from time to time. So if you're finding yourself having to do a lot of people stuff, make sure you're making some time for yourself. That's very important, especially when this feels so intense. Watch out for any sort of group dynamic. Now, if we're not looking at any kind of people-y looking things here, this card can just represent like having a lot on your plate or your mind in a lot of different places. So there could be a lot of people in the Scorpio collective that are busy, whether you're purposely keeping yourself that way or whether that's just the hand you were dealt right now. And busy's not necessarily a bad thing, just as long as it's not overwhelmed, because that's what I was seeing with all the people too, where it's like I feel like I'm potentially getting overwhelmed by all this energy. So we're just going to let them chill out right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading, it's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright, then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Scorpio gang in late May. And yeah, with that other card, it could also sometimes represent social media for some reason. I'm not sure how that might hit for other people, but it always reminds me of Facebook. But yeah, while we get this deck ready to rock, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled Beware This Person. Now, it didn't necessarily feel like the scariest or worst reading, just being honest with you. To me, the big thing that was popping out to me was like another person's actions not lining up with their words. So just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. Just watch out for any individuals where like they might be saying one thing and doing the total opposite. A lot of Scorpios would notice that rather quickly. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Scorpio gang in late May. What do we got for our friends? Okay, so just as we're speaking about people, we got another people showing up. I don't know what this is. Are you extra popular, Scorpio? You're extra popular in this time. We're going to put that Queen of Wands down right there. Let's get a couple more out. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple more court cards. All right. Yeah. We got the King of Wands right next to her. So this is very, very people-y for some reason. Okay. Let's get another. Fiery. I mean, a lot of fire. A lot of... Okay. So... we have the 5 of Wands, so you see all those people, they're brawling right there. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. This is just very high energy. The energy this week, Scorpio, I would describe it as high octane. And then we got our good friend here, Mr. Knight of Pentacles. So we are still on this very people-y theme, and we're really going to have to try to reconstruct or figure out why all these people are showing up here. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like that frames the reading and tells us how the energy is going to flow. Um, and a lot of this is outside energy. I will say that we are very much fire heavy, where most of the zodiac this week has had a pretty good equilibrium in elements. We got fire, 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 a little smidge of earth that could ground it down a little bit. Now, out of all the water signs, I do feel like Scorpio is very adept at working with the fire energy because of the co-rulership of Mars in your astrology. So it doesn't concern me that there's so much fire. But the thing that these two share in common is outside influences, right? Because the fire is the action, the earth is the world that we live in. It's not internal. It's not like matters of the heart and mind. This is stuff that's outside of us, outside of our control. Now, when it comes to fire, I already mentioned it is the realm of action. So whether it's the actions we take, the actions other people take, the actions we want to take, I think of health, wellness, vitality, energy levels. So if you've been feeling a little bit down, all this fire could make you feel quite up, right? Like it's a nice bursting, intense type of energy. So that could be really great. The downside to so much fire showing up is the intensity that it burns with, and also the fact that it could be volatile. It can be explosive. So that's just something we need to keep an eye on as we move through the reading. Now, the earth here on the back end does kind of counterbalance that in the bonus. Like earth is more about stability, security, predictability, your day-to-day life, your day-to-day routine, money, work, business, finance. So maybe you have like an extra focus on work and money when we have the Knight of Pentacles, or Pentacles in general. Home and family. So you see what I mean? It's like we have the actions and then we have the world around us. It's all outside of us. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Queen of Wands, right? Now, big fire sign energy. We got the King and Queen right next to each other, and they do have some similarities. But when it comes to the Queen, that's big fire sign energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Not sure if you have any or not. Now, Queens, even though this is an outward facing suit, represent the internal aspects of the suit. So when I see the Queen of Wands, I think of beauty, I think of sexiness, I think of confidence. Like this is a huge card of self-confidence and how someone feels about themselves and how they treat themselves. That's huge when it comes to the Queen of Wands. Sometimes she'll show up when you're changing something about your look or your appearance. So whether it's like wardrobe, hair, working out a lot, the Queen of Wands is like very conscious about how she presents herself to the world. Usually it's very good, bold, and can be very daring. So not necessarily a bad thing. But the Queen of Wands sometimes can be a little too hard on herself when we look at the inverse. Because remember, I always give you the positive, but also the challenge. So like when I see the Queen of Wands, sometimes this is a person, I don't want to say they're self-deprecating, but it's an energy that could be very, very hard on itself. Holds itself to a very high standard, which is something I know a lot of Scorpios do. So in this time, you might be doing that. Or I would not be so hard on yourself with her here, especially with the king right next to her. Now, when we see a king and queen show up right next to each other, that is a big sign of partnerships, connections, all that kind of stuff. But we do have the King of Wands right next to her. He has a bit of a different flavor. So yes, he does have that entrepreneurial, fiery, intense, outgoing, charismatic type of energy that the queen has. But kings represent control of their suit. So when I see the King of Wands, it's like I'm controlling my focus. I'm controlling my actions. This is a waste of my time. This is a waste of my time. This is worth my effort and attention. So some Scorpios might be in that mode where you're doing a lot of analysis, where it's like, am I putting my energy into this? Is this a waste of my energy? Am I putting my energy into that? The King of Wands is huge when it comes to this. It's about focused intention. That's the big thing with him. But the downside of the King of Wands, again, he could be very, very risky. He would bet the house, right? This is an energy that will go all in, literally, where it's like, okay, no, I feel risky, and I'm going to do it. And I've been seeing that in the undertone for other water signs this week, where there's like this little risk underneath the surface, and it's showing up a little extra here in the Scorpio reading initially. So we got to watch out for that. Sometimes the King of Wands could lose control a little bit, right? Like sometimes he can be very aggressive and pushy. So something we want to watch out for. Speaking of aggressive and pushy, right here on the back end, we got the Five of Wands. I always say you don't got to be an expert in tarot to understand what this means. We got five people, they're beating the crap out of each other with sticks. How hard can it be? Now, in the positive sense, I always say this is a card of determination. Can't stop, won't quit. Once I decide on something, I follow through with it. Again, more big Scorpio traits. Like when my mind is set up, I follow through. Doesn't matter how hard it is. But the challenge with this card, the fighting, the conflict, It's very problematic. It's very aggressive. There's like a lot of people, right? So when we have the Oracle with a lot of people, the main part of the spread with a lot of people, the Five of Wands with a lot of people battling each other, really watch out for getting pulled into other people's stuff in this time. Especially with the complicated nuance that we're picking up here. But yeah, there's a lot of fire here, and it does feel very, very risky for some reason. It's kind of getting my juices flowing, right? And listen, I have Aries placements along with my Scorpio placements. Nothing wrong with a little calculated risk. It's like, oh, I feel alive. Now, right here on the back end, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Total opposite of what I'm speaking about. This is the voice of reason, right? So this is Earth sign energy. So Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. Calm, meticulous, detail-oriented knights do represent action as well, but they're more, especially the Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady. Slow it down. Don't do anything too rash or bold. So we want to see what's going on here. Sometimes the Knight of Pentacles could feel stuck in a rut. So we got a lot going on here, Scorpio. I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Scorpio gang? And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message. It means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the beautiful Queen of Wands. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give the Scorpio gang, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is that Queen of Wands here, please? Why is that Queen in the mix? Cool. More fire. Okay. All right. So this energy. So we have the Emperor in reverse, Aries energy. So again, Aries, the cardinal fire sign, all about the action, right? And we see him in reverse. Sometimes he can represent authority figures. I will say this, a little bit of a warning for some Scorpios out there. Watch out with people in positions of perceived authority, or people that act like they're the boss, but they're really not. It's like one of those. Watch out for anyone trying to like boss you around or tell you what to do. Like when I see the Queen of Wands with the Emperor in reverse, it's like, no, you can't tell me what to do. It's like one of those for some reason. So I don't know why that's coming through, but that's not the whole main message. I just kind of felt that. Now, the Emperor himself is the King of Kings. Just to give you a bit of my thought process here. He's the King of Kings. So he's like the King of Wands on steroids, right? He's the shot caller. This is great for entrepreneurial pursuits if you're trying to get stuff in order. When I see the Queen of Wands with the Emperor flipped in reverse, this is kind of like a I don't care type of energy, where it's like, yeah, I don't give a damn. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever will be, will be. It's like one of those. So I'm not sure if there's certain situations where it's like, you know what? I don't care. I just don't care. Can't be bothered. Can't put energy into it. Not sure what this could be, but it also does bring me back around to this very risky type of energy, where it's like when someone gets to this point where it's like, hey, I don't give a shit. Like this energy just feels very risky initially. So watch out for that. And again, watch out for any really bossy people or people in positions of authority. It's like, hey, you could ask me to do something, but don't order me to do it. It's very unique. It's very unique. Let's go in on the King of Wands. Let's see. Are we going to get the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands? Are we going to have all fire here? That would be a rare sight. But why is the King of Wands in the mix? I don't know. And it's not like this energy feels nonchalant. It's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's you or somebody else. Because that's normally like flippant energy like that isn't really Scorpio energy. Okay. So we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. Why is this energy? It's like I'm trying to talk somebody out of something or talk them into something. That is so unique the way this energy shows up. So we have the Eight of Cups in reverse underneath the King of Wands. Now remember what I was saying about the King of Wands. It's all about focused intention, where I'm going, what I'm doing. So when I get this King of Wands under the Eight of Cups in reverse, either one, it's an energy that's returning in some sort of way. So just watch out for that. And this time I did pick this up in a couple of signs in recent weeks. Like with the fire, there could be something that just pops up like explosively or surprisingly or unexpectedly. The Eight of Cups is usually walking away when it flips in reverse. It's like, I'm back. Hi. Glad to see you again. It's like a revisiting of something. Again, it doesn't have to be a person. It could just be revisiting a situation or revisiting something. There is something that loops back here. But at the same time, I get this energy that's either trying to talk somebody out of something or talk them into something, right? Because remember, this energy here is like, nope, don't care. Nope, I'm going to do what I want. Nope, very risky. This one was like, whoa, 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 let's slow it down a minute. Let's slow it down. Remember I mentioned earlier, like the voice of reason? That's kind of how this feels to me. It's like, let's think before we act here. So like I do get this like explosive risk type of energy still, aside from like the returning and the, the long hair don't care type of energy in the front. But yeah, this energy, it's like, let's think first. Let's think this through. Let's not be too quick to act. I don't know what this could be. This is so unique, Scorpio. I'm getting way too many hyper specific messages this week. So again, only take what hits for you. If none of these hyper specific ones are hitting for you, I would just say watch the impulse control, especially with the stuff I'm seeing about risks and stuff like that, and this energy trying to like talk somebody out of something. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. I mean, it is what it is. And also what I was saying about getting pulled into other people's stuff too. But let's see what the Five of Wands has. And then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. Yeah, this is intense. Which again, I'm not surprised. We do get a lot of intense energy in Scorpio readings. But yeah, another person. I'm not really shocked. So Scorpio, notice that we have no Scorpio cards out here in the field right now. So this could absolutely be people within your circle or around you. We got the King of Pentacles in reverse underneath this Five of Wands. That energy is wild, my friends. I don't want to say it's unhinged, but it's wild. Like, again, it's like this energy amplified. This energy on the front amplified right here on the back end when we get the King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, this energy here in the center, it seems to be like insulating or keeping these two sides separate. That's another thing I'm getting here too. So just watch out like for playing mediator, or it's like these two people are arguing and I'm trying to give messages to both. This is just way too complicated. I would really watch out for getting pulled into other people's stuff. But yeah, usually the King of Pentacles is earth sign energy, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. King of Pentacles in control of this earthly energy, solid, stable. So again, notice we got the King of Wands, Emperor, King of Pentacles. We have all these energies trying to keep things steady, keep them on track, trying to control this, trying to control that. So it's like, it doesn't feel like we're keeping something under wraps. We're just trying to keep on track, if that makes sense. But when he shows up in reverse underneath this Five of Wands, like this, I don't want to say it's a problem. It just feels very, very risky. So whether these are people doing things that you don't agree with, whether it's someone acting in ways where it's like, why are you acting like this? Try your best not to get pulled into it, because like to me it seems like both sides aren't, I don't want to say aren't seeing things clearly, but it's like one of those things where both sides could be at fault. It's partially that, and then at the same time there's just this underlying risky energy. So I feel like that is a warning this week about urges and controlling of urges, even if it's not dealing with other people. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. I feel like I could read this spread for like another 20 minutes, but I'm going to be considerate of everyone's time. Let's go through and do a recap. Position number 1, we got the Queen of Wands with the Emperor in reverse underneath it. So again, we got a ton of fire, we got a whole ton of people, no Scorpio cards, so it seems like a lot of outside stuff, especially with like the mostly fire and earth showing up here. But the Queen of Wands with the Emperor in reverse, watch out for people that have issues with authority figures or someone that's trying to boss them around, because this energy is like, hey, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me what to say, don't tell me how to act. It's kind of lashing out against authority. But even if we take that to the side, the Queen of Wands with the Emperor in reverse is like, yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. I feel like doing it. I'm going to do it. Feels a little wild and risky. We still get it in the center. We have the King of Wands with the Eight of Cups in reverse. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's slow it down. Let's think about this first. Let's think before we act. This energy is trying to be a voice of reason right here in the center. But then there's also this very like energy that loops back, that returns. It's like very explosive in its own way. So whether it's the explosive risk that we're seeing, it's a lot of stuff here, Scorpio. Moving to the back end, we have the Five of Wands with the King of Pentacles in reverse. It's this energy amplified. So again, this energy is in the center. These energies are doing all sorts of wild stuff, just very risky and aggressive. So again, watch for getting pulled into stuff, and watch the, the temptation. I don't even want to call it temptation, but watch the urges in this time. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this shadow card out. Are we going to get another person this time? Let's see. Maybe not. Thank you. Cool. All right, Ace of Swords. Very smart, very intelligent. This is the sword of truth. So I love all aces because to me they represent communication, conversation, and the Ace of Swords being the sword of truth is just very honest, straightforward, direct. Now, in the shadow sense, this card can sometimes be a little abrasive. This card can cut deep. This card could cut things off. This card can be very cold and very mean. So I'm not telling you like, hey, Scorpio, being mean. I'm not saying anything like that. This could be something as simple as Spirit saying like, hey, think it through, right? This is a very cerebral card. There might be something where Spirit's like, hey, really think before you act. Really think something through. But for another portion of it, yeah, this energy could just really let it rip. Where it's like, if there's something on my mind, I'm going to say it. If I'm thinking it and feeling it, I'm saying it, no filter. So just watch out for that, especially if there's someone being very aggressive with their words. So very interesting reading this week, Scorpio. We're going to put that sword of truth down right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the May subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My May calendar is up and the spots go quick, so you might want to check it out. But for the May subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 lucky subscribers to win either a copy of the Tarot of the Owls, beautiful deck, and it's really nice, or 3 custom-made pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments, out of the cards that showed up in this week's reading, which one caught your attention most or resonated with you most. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in the posts tab. My friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.